Hi YouTube, welcome to another tutorial. I'm Tammy K, and today it's all about, sorry I was stuck to the table, tiny little plants. And so I had so much fun painting these the other day, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to teach you guys a few of these so that you can use them to paint some cards for people or just for your own practice. So let's get into it, you guys. Take a deep breath. It's going to be fun, and I hope you enjoy the whole process of the video. Okay, so friends, today, my little journal with some of the plants that I did the other night. I had so much fun with this. I was just sitting, watching Malcolm in the Middle with my husband, and kind of watching, but mostly just painting, and it was great. So I'm going to do these 3 of these for you today. We're going to do kind of the green leafy one, we'll do the cactus, and we'll do the bird of paradise. So I've divided my 7 by 10 paper into 3 sections. You may or may not see those pencil lines just to keep me accountable to where I'm placing things. And I'm actually going to probably, we'll just put a little line here and here, because for me, I like things to be evenly spaced. When they're not, I find that to be kind of annoying, and it's just a weird preference thing. Anyway, so we're gonna start by adding in our vase, or the pot. And so everything here is pretty wet, but I'm just gonna wet it down a little bit more. And we're gonna grab some blue and kind of mix it up here on our palette. Now, if you're wondering why my water is already muddy, it's because I've already been painting this morning. It's not the first filming I've been doing. And so, you know, but the water is still okay. So I've got this nice runny mix here. I'm gonna dab my paintbrush on my paper towel for water control. And we are going to start with our pot. So it's kind of this U curve shape, right? Kind of like this, and going back around like that. Pretty simple. Then clean off the brush, dab it, and start to spread some of that paint out, just like that. So I'm not going to fill in the whole thing with color. I just think it looks nice when you spread the paint around a little bit and let it bleed a little bit as well. We will do some shadows too. Now you can take more of that blue paint and press down where you want it just to spread out, make some more color. I just like that look, that billowy look with those soft lines. And you can always remove some paint if you feel like there's too much there. All right. Don't think about perfect, you guys. You're just playing with color, enjoying that whole process. So we're going to start with the pots, and then when it's more dry, we'll come back and start with the foliage. So now we're going to do a yellowish, maybe orangey pot. Just grab some color on your palette, some cadmium yellow here. Same type of thing, but I'm going to make it a little bit more squatty, almost like a beehive. It's kind of what it reminds me of. So we're going to be a little bit narrower here and go out kind of the opposite thing, maybe not, I don't know. And then kind of come back around a little bit there as well. Clean off the brush, dab it, and then we start to spread some of that paint, and that's, you can take more water, and that's the beauty of watercolor, right? You just spread it out. You've got lighter and darker values, and we're gonna kind of do the top part right there. And so you can leave it like this if you'd like, kind of splotchy, up to you. If it bothers you, you can fill it in. So, and the last one, we're gonna do a cute little kind of reddish pot, maybe like a terracotta. So I'm grabbing some of this alizarin crimson, which leans more kind of pinky, but we're gonna add in, ooh, let's take some brown, not leave some red. So we're starting to add in some of that. Maybe we'll add in a little bit of this Payne's Gray, or a lot. Made myself purple. More of that red. And it's fun just to play around with the color and see what comes up. Grabbing some more of that brown. There we go. I'd say that works for now. And we're gonna do a little pot here with a lip on it. So similar, kind of coming around like so. working on your sketching skills. Okay. And then we'll go across. And then we're just going to add like a little bit of a little lip up here. And sketch across that way, overlapping. All right, cleaning my brush because I want mostly water. And look at how that spreads. I love that look. So while it's still wet, and I might leave this like kind of a highlight right there. While it's still wet, you can spread that around. If you don't want any harsh lines, then you do it while, things haven't dried yet. And that's one of my favorite ways of spreading color, just with water. It's just a fun way to work. And then you're getting some softer lines too. Now, taking some more of that paint, maybe a little bit more of a pinky version, and bringing that in to wet on wet. And we can change up some details too once everything is dry. Okay, we'll just leave that there. I just spritzed water with some color, but that's fine. We just go with the flow, guys. We're not gonna worry about it. So we're gonna do our leaves, grabbing some greens, lovely, lovely greens. And I've got an olive green here, which is beautiful. Let's use that. So kind of a medium consistency. Dab your brush, and we'll just start to put in, really what we're doing is we're adding in our leaves, these little pointed oval shapes, and you can leave some white space if you'd like. And they're gonna overlap. They're gonna stick out in some places. And then we'll connect everything together with some vines or some stems. So this is fun. Don't get caught up in where exactly to put every single leaf. Just play with this shape. And because once it's all together, you guys, it's gonna look great. But sometimes we can get really caught up in, okay, what shape exactly? What's the position? Where's it going? Where's it coming from? Man, my mind does that too, you guys. So I'm just telling you not to, because it doesn't help your experience in one way or another. It just makes you nervous. And my whole thing is just letting go of that idea of perfectionism. And some of these leaves might be kind of to the side, and you just get like a little tiny view of it. So I want to let go of what we think things need to be perfect and just go with the flow. I'm gonna have one go up like that, a little bit taller, just like that. And so now I'm gonna start putting in the stems, and then we'll keep going from there. So really thin marks, everything just coming back around into the pot. Potted plants are so fun. They're really cute. They're adorable. So we've got those leaves in there. We can add in a few more, just where you think it needs to be. Because, you look at a plant, if you have any plants, or you know anyone who does, like they're really dense. If it's going well, it's packed, right? And just a little bit of a leaf right there. Okay, so I like that look of just kind of crazy, messy, maybe just a little bit of color in there to show that density as well. Boop. And just a little bit right there. All right, so we'll leave that one alone. We're gonna go to our cactus next, and I'm going to take a different color. We're gonna take that beautiful bright green, lovely color, and we're going to, this is a sap green, and we're going to add in, it's kind of like, as kind of a circle, but it gets wider as it goes out, and then it kind of comes back in. I'm gonna clean, damp brush to fill this in and spread that color. So you might be tempted to try to do this perfectly. Again, we're not looking for perfect. In fact, it really doesn't exist, but it's something that we look for and we stress about, and then we get mad when we don't do it. Okay, so if you make some mistakes, know that I also felt that way and made mistakes, especially when I did the first one. I was like, what am I doing? But you know what? What are we all doing? We're just learning. We're practicing. If you've never done plants before, you've never painted them, this is new for you. Congratulations. You're trying something you've never tried before, which is awesome. All right, guys, I want to remind you that I am on Patreon, and that is the membership platform where I have exclusive content if you're interested in exclusive tutorials. I just added a live class back in. I used to do it. My schedule's opened up and I can do that a little bit more. So it'll be a monthly class. So depending on the tier that you choose, you can get different benefits. We even have a drawing sheets tier. And so that's pretty fun if you want to work on your drawing game and just, try to pay attention to those details, a little different than painting, but also really fun and satisfying. And a little one right here. So the cacti are fun. Anyway, that's linked below, Patreon. And then my Skillshare classes too. My referral link is there, linked below, and that's where you can watch all my classes and all the classes from different teachers for 30 days for free. So if you've never done Skillshare before, such a good deal. All right, so we kind of went super random there, and I think just leave it. Just leave it, walk away. You can always come back and do more. All right, so what I want to do here is start adding in the leaves where I think I want them to go, and then we'll add in the stems, which is going to seem a little scary once again, but that's okay, you can do it. So these are longer leaves, and they're a little bit rounded at the end of it. And I'm just going to grab random greens, you guys, okay? To put these in. So pretty. I think green is definitely one of my most favorite colors. I mean, I love aqua and all that stuff. This one needs to be a little bit longer. Shade of green. So, but yeah. And this plant is so fun. Now, they need to be pretty tall. And some of those leaves are short. Like I have one at home. It's never flowered yet, but I've only had it for about a month and a half. I really hope that it flowers. But yeah, they get pretty. They can get pretty tall, I guess, like lengthy, compared to some potted plants. And so I don't know. I'm just trying to make sure that I do that. And then there's shorter leaves too. So I'm really wanting to put in these leaves at different positions. And then we've got to save some room for the blooms because we're going to have blooms in there too. Okay, and those are going to be pretty tall and orange and fabulous. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to start connecting, and then we'll see like how many other leaves we need to start adding in, and flowers. It's a pretty big pot. Woo! That one probably shouldn't be hanging out like that. Maybe he needs some water. You can see it's a fairly large pot, and we need to fill it up. So we're going to keep adding in more, adding in more. Whoops. So maybe this guy has been growing for a while, and it just, a full pot of leaves. Fabulous. So it's going to be very exciting if and when it flowers, like, because it's inside and I don't know how healthy it's going to be. And we don't live in the tropics, so there's that. So for the flowers, we're doing this little shape kind of like that. And we'll put that in. And then we're going to do one right here. And then we'll do the flower. You'll see what that looks like. Another one right here with the stem. And then I'm going to do another one pretty tall right there. Okay, so that's fun. I'm going to let that be and let that dry. And since I like to work in layers, we're going to start over here. So I'm going to take more of this cobalt blue and add that in. just to darken it up a tad. A tad. And of course, same thing, letting it spread out a little bit. And just kind of leave that. You know what? I also want to do a darker blue. Ultramarine, because why not? For some real good shadow. And then for my yellow one, I'm going to take my beautiful yellow ochre, and we're going to do the top right here. And then we're just going to do some lines, real sketchy lines. And we're just curving them out, so it's just kind of emphasizing the shape of the container. And we've got that there a little bit thicker at the top. And then I want to just to create some believability, so we're going to go behind. And then we can make it really dark, kind of like there's soil in there later. And then we're going to sketch down here. So you can see I'm not committed to a hard line. I like these tiny little sketch marks. And I just think it adds to, you know, the prettiness of what we're doing. All right. So this one, I'm liking the bleed. I'm liking the highlight. I do not want this to be so pink. So that's nice. So we're just going to make the lip of this darker once again, just to emphasize that. And we're going to darken this part up too. Clean, damp brush, spread out the edge. All right. And now we're going to make up a darker green to add some texture and shadow to these guys. All right. So for these, some of them I'm going to outline and maybe add some leaf veins. And others I'm just going to leave them how they are. And this is just to give a variety of, you know, interest here. This one too. So a really thin brush to do that. And then some of these you can just do a little bit of some green on there, just to kind of, you can edge it out or just add some little shadow like that. And then you can also go over some of the stems to darken those up too, to make it all real pretty. All right, so for the cactus, I do want to add some darker green into the mix. Now you can do that when it is wet, but I did not. So now that it's dry, just gonna put in on this left side some what I'd call some shadow bits. And you don't have to place it like exactly the same space or the same amount for everything. But I do want to go back in with that clean damp brush, of course. We're going to do a little bit of spreading. A little bit of spreading. And this is just going to give some pops of color and create some fun dimension for your cactus. Cacti, cactus. It's one cactus. Cactus. Add some dark there at the bottom. It's probably going to bleed into the cactus piece, but that's okay. It'll add some more dimension. Yeah, no worries. Alrighty, and then these guys, I'm going to try to do the orange part, but I'm going to dry this first and we'll be right back. All right, everything is dry. So we're gonna go for our orangey here. Just grabbing some of that paint, swirling the brush, dabbing on the paper towel, of course, you guys. And then we're just gonna do these little lines. And you can see that this is kind of like the bird head and that's like the crazy hairdo. And that's how you do your easy bird of paradise. Flowers. And this one too. And if we need more flowers in there, we can do that. Now I do want to add some darker green, as we like to do. So same type of thing. A little bit more of that olive. So I'm dabbing my brush, and then I am going to do some of those veins. All right, so really light pressure to do really thin marks. Over here. And you can do all of them if you'd like. I do want to do kind of highlight, not highlight, but put in the dark marks right here just to create the dimension for our stems. And you know, since we're into sketchy marks, continue with that. You don't have to follow everything exactly. We're just learning how to, you know, roughly do these things. Having a good time, breathing and reminding ourselves life is good, and that painting and the journey of painting is just really fun and relaxing. And, you know, even if you feel like, wow, the way my painting turned out is not what I hoped, you can always do it again, right? You can always try it and paint it again and learn from what you would consider mistakes, and that's okay. All right, I think that's it for the veins. So for our cute plants, we're going to grab kind of a gray, watery color, and we'll just add in some shadow. So we'll choose kind of what side. I mean, it doesn't have to be the same, right? It really doesn't. That's pretty dark. So we're just going to go right under it, and then we're just going to go right behind it and get that nice shadow in there. And if some of that red, that brownish red, yep, starts spreading, that's really great. And then we'll do this one too. We'll just go the same side. And this is going to keep our plant from looking like it's just kind of floating out there, doing nothing. It's just anchoring it. There's some shadow. Yeah. And you decide how big you want your shadow to be, how bumpy, how accurate, all that stuff as well. And that is simply it. All right, you guys, thank you for painting with me today. And I hope that doing those 3 plants inspires you to do some plant painting of your own. What inspired me was this game called Planted. I actually got it on Amazon. It's not an affiliated link, but just wanted to share with you. It's super cute. And oops, upside down. And so I just took some of the pictures here and I made my own versions of those plants because I like to change them and make them my own, and not necessarily directly copy. Anyway, I hope you just felt like this need to kind of relax and enjoy. And I want to remind you guys again, I'm on Patreon, so it's the exclusive membership and you can click on the link below. I'm also on Skillshare as well. My free 30-day referral link is below and I have 6 classes on there. I'm about to have my 7th at the end of this month. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon on the next tutorial. Happy painting and happy mental health.